we have now finished at the garden shed area. And many of you ladies and gentlemen that remember the parks from years ago may remember these benches, because there were a lot of these in parks. Even when I was a little boy in Valentine's Park, they still had several of those. Sir Frederick Gibberd, sorry, beg your pardon. Frederick Gibberd was one of the most prominent architects of his time. He designed in Harlow, Newtown. He wore this hat while gardening at home at Marsh Lane in Harlow. Lecture notes and production slides. Which are these? They're lovely, them, aren't they? Yeah, let's take a nice picture. I'll give him that. Portrait of Humphry Repton. There he is. Annoys me when it does that with this flickering thing. It is something with Samsungs, they do it when you go near certain types of lighting. Pause to read any of the descriptions, as I keep saying, probably getting on your nerves. A beautiful house and gardens, if you want to have a look at something like that, is Great Dixter House, Northiam in Sussex. If you go back to, I think it was around about September last year, you'll see videos of that. William Robinson. Pause to read, so I shall be moving away. Look at this jacket, look. flower garden cloak. Oh, it's a 1930s cloak. William Robertson spent the latter part of his life in a wheelchair, and this short cloak gave him the freedom to continue to garden and be mobile. So, I'll take a picture of.
I have no garden of my own, and what I have learned has been from the years of working on other people's ground. But I allow myself daydreams that I one day mean to have. It must be a small garden, but a simple one. One man's work, mine perhaps. High walls will protect it from east and north, and I shall enclose the other two sides with a low wall or a 5-foot yew or box hedge. Under the walls, I shall make a
Simple mahogany desk was used by Jekyll to write the correspondence and more articles on gardening. When Jekyll's remaining personal belongings were auctioned off at Stidwood, 1947.
texture of foliage and habit of growth.
Gertrude Jekyll.
Each bed will be autonomous, its own small world. This will be my personal vegetable museum, my art gallery of natural forms, the trial ground, from which I will always learn. I should like a stream, and a fast-running one too, at least for part of its course through the garden. For one of my greatest pleasures is the sound of falling water. The main part of my garden will take the shape of a pool or lawn, which may well level away from the house or perhaps rise or fall. It will be the vital open space which links and gives meaning to everything else. House and hedges, trees and plantings, the clear or cloudy sky. In the back of my mind lurks the picture of some native growth of trees, a few beech or oaks, or birch perhaps, or Scots fir. Here, the path will be a playful wide. On either side I shall plant hazelnuts, spaced about 6 foot apart.
Gertrude Jekyll, or Jekyll's photograph album.
Company of plants which thrive in just such conditions. Primroses, polyanthus, anemone appenina, anemone blanda, anemone fulgens, hepatica, hellebores, foxgloves perhaps. Part of the greenhouse I shall save for the pale blue Plumbago capensis, and especially the Jasminium polyanthum, so that through the plants I can cut sprays with brown red buds and intensely.
And this newer area up here gives you a really good view of the architecture of the church. Sad to think that this one was almost lost. Had it not been turned into what it is now, we would not be enjoying this lovely place.
Consider the growing point, the mills of a bulbous snowdrop or scilla, and the strength that the heat it generates to force its way through the frozen earth. So often these and all the natural phenomena of spring pass unnoticed. Why should I not devise my garden deliberately as an act of appreciation to the forces which bring about this art of growth? Those are the rites of spring. The earth turns, and in a few sun-warmed hours, the ice recedes, and the sun-bearer's fringed line of flowers shines in a dark earth beard against the snow. My imaginary garden thus takes many forms, and each of its forms has many aspects.
There's plans for not gardening to look. Tudor and Stuart knot gardens were pretty amazing. Hidden designs.
breaks of the silvery sea buffalo, and other plants all armored in silver depict the challenges of the sandy soil in this sunny and airy place. Each second is new, and in each second are imprisoned the gardens. If ever this intermittent vision becomes a reality, it will work itself.
Captain Bligh of the Bounty, 19th century oil on canvas. Oh, that's interesting. Mutiny on the Bounty. Wasn't a very nice bloke, apparently. Reflection, unfortunate, but that's better. Just the little details. So. There's the library in there. Oh look, King Charles. His Majesty King Charles III in 2016. Portrait of a Black Gardener, circa 1905, Harold Gilman. I didn't take a picture of the description. Oh look, Charlie Dimmock, Alan Titchmarsh, Percy Farrar. The blast from the past, isn't it, eh? Gardener's World Jumper 2007. I noticed they've anyone that knows will know why they're not showing the bottom half of Charlie Dimmock's chest area. I'll tell you that don't know, she doesn't wear a bra, and it is noticeable. There's an African-American dirty blues singer from the 1930s and 40s. And one of her songs goes, "I got nipples on my titties, big at the end of my thumb." And that basically describes Charlie Dimmock. Funny enough, because me and my mate was having a discussion and he said, yeah, people were so prim and proper like in the old days, they really weren't dirty and rude at all, were they? So I sent him evidence to to prove otherwise. He went, oh my God. He went, is that woman actually from the 1930s and 40s? I went, yeah. He went, shit. He went, like, my grandparents and great-grandparents could have been listening to things like that. Because Simon, his nan lives with him still. She's very old now, bless her. And he told her about it, and she went, well, boy, she went, we're all young once. And she went, you know what they say, there's many a good tune played on an old fiddle. That's one of Ivy's favourite sayings, that. Stained glass is gorgeous in the architecture. You can see these cherubs and on the wall. A real feast for the eyes, this one, isn't it, eh? And for interest purposes, if you like gardening. If you don't like gardening or churches, this is probably going to bore the shitting life out of you, this one. Medals. And trophies. Sutton seeds, one of the best makers of garden seeds that you can actually get at Sutton's. Just do that, take a picture of him. That will bug me otherwise if I can't see where it says properly without breaking my neck. I like this. I'm just laughing at the song of that African American lady, the nipples song. Oh my God, it's bad. It's really graphic. At first, when someone sent it, because I used to be like that, they were really prim and proper in the old days, weren't they? And a history friend of mine, who was a lot older than me, gave a wry laugh and said, how do you think so? She said, how the hell do you think they had such large families? She went, I know they didn't have birth control. She went, but come on. And then she sent me this other stuff. I was like, oh my God. She couldn't stop laughing. She went, well, there you are. I was like, oh my goodness. And I shall look on the Victorians, who we think of as fairly prudish. They were quite filth. Their country house parties, all hopping from one another's bed to the other. And their servants, their maids, they were quite clever, some of them. What they'd do to see who was where, they'd get little bits of coloured cotton or feathers and they'd put them in their master's or mistress's slippers. So if master or mistress went to someone else's bedroom, took their slippers off, their servants would compare the feathers where they came from in the morning and see who'd been bed hopping. The sign of a good servant knows that they have spoken well, that they kept their mouth shut, and if they spoke about it, that they only did it between themselves. But yeah, the Victorians, they were not as prudish as you think. Queen Victoria, I mean, she was quite a raunchy cow when she was younger. When she got married to Prince Albert, they had, you know, like we've got pull cord lights where you can turn the light off with a pull cord. They had the same device fitted, so they could lock their bedroom door, and the cord was next to the bed. And they had quite a lot of children. So, gnomes. Friends Grizzle. So look, what we think of as garden gnomes, how they first began.
Jamaica we learned that England is our mother country. And that's the only reason why then I come here. I don't come here and crown in eating myself. I put myself to work at which I was doing in Jamaica.
So the description cards covered. I do like to, I know not everyone reads them, but I've had a couple of comments from people saying, oh, it's great that you cover the description cards and everything. One lady said, oh, I hate it when people don't, because I want to see what the item was, and now I don't know, so do try to cater for everyone if I can. I hate reflections sometimes, they really get on my nerves. Like the old images of gardeners of the past, shall we say. Fairmaid Gardens once did. That's interesting. One I didn't know about, and one for me to cover.
Before I go to school, I used to sing, and then after I left school, then I ran in a big way. I invited all over the country, even in England here as well.
That's the fishing gnome. Croquet set, look. Anyone for Pims? Oh my god, look at the chauvinistic adverts, look. Ransoms, smooth running and perfect cutting. So simple even a woman can do it. That is what that advert is implying. I mean, who the hell mows their grass looking like that? I mean, I like gardening, but come on. Come on. I mean, I know these adverts were of our grandparents or my grandparents and my next generation and great-grandparents, but it makes you wonder what they actually thought when they saw these adverts. I mean, did they just view them as normal adverts like we do? Or did they take the piss? Like I am.
When I first interviewed this house, this is the room.
Parts.
I valued this room for £1,000. Nobody else would not live in this room but me alone. I was about 50,000.
And don't forget, my friends, we've still got the courtyard garden to do yet. Burial place of the Tradescants, where we shall see the Tradescant tomb. Before this occurs, I must, please God, find a toilet.
And I copied the style, and so I put down the style here, look on there, and I do here, I do here, and I do here, and do here.
I have to be careful with showing things like that sometimes because you get copyrighted.
Up there, see with the little spot there, and I didn't
That annoys me.
picture of myself as well, you know, my own likeness, but then all these here. This more or less is actually my own likeness. All here is become like some of these glass windows that I see in the churches, then, you know, and I copy them and just design the room here into this way.
There might be another part, yeah, I think there will be actually, for finish off this. And then the courtyard garden. 1913. I have a hell of a job reading some of this old writings. My nan's writing was like that. Testimonial for Joseph Martin Farley. That's interesting. Take a picture of that. Bills and invoices. Warrant. More art. Ancient Order of Free Gardeners, 1860. There's that one. Got like a greenhouse here. Like a child's lawnmower. The Webb miniature lawnmower for children, 1930. A children's wheelbarrow. That was my bag. My bag, by the way, I didn't crush anything. This time. Oh, look at that, it's brilliant. To our greenhouse, Britain miniature garden sets. And the ceiling designed by That's very good. And you think that these Britain launched their miniature gardening series in 1930s. These sets included an extensive range of garden accessories along with flower beds, rockeries and buildings. I mean, these are often intended for children. And they're very detailed, I like that. Try and get those ones without the reflection on. Historical garden gnomes. Gnomes are like Marmite, you either love them or hate them. The cut flower trade. Yeah, and we've gone to the 30 minutes, so join me for the next part, please.